Hey guys, so today I have swatches of the Zoya Ultra Pixie Dust Collection for fall of this year, 2014. These are different from the previous magical pixie dusts in the sense that they are kind of the middle of the road. They have larger hex glitters, so they are chunkier than a regular pixie dust, which is just a standard texture polish, but they are less chunky than the magical pixie dusts, which have the chunky glitter and like big textured chunks. So they're the middle ground between the two different kinds of pixie dust that we've already seen from Zoya. So that being said, I will get right into the swatches. So the first polish is Oswin, and this is a red texture polish with red chunky glitter in a red jelly base. Here is one coat of Oswin. This is actually a lot thinner than I expected it to be. I thought it would be really annoyingly chunky just because there's so much glitter and texture in there, but it's actually really easy to apply. It's a lot smoother than I thought it would be. The base is also coming off a little more pink than it looks in the bottle too, but I think that will turn really red on two coats. As you can see on my pointer finger, it's already starting to lose its shine, so this does seem to dry really, really fast. So I'm going to let this dry down to its texture, and then I will come back for a second coat. Okay, so the first coat is completely dried, and I did want to point out, I know you probably won't be able to see it here, some of the texture particles that are on the surface of the nail actually have kind of a white cast to it a little bit. Like, I don't know if you've ever removed texture polish before, but as you're taking it off, the nail polish remover will kind of make some of the texture particles white. They'll take some of the color off of it, and that's how the first coat dried a little bit. So I have worn one of these already for a couple days now, and that one also did that on one coat, but it didn't dry like that on the second coat. So I'm hoping that this one will be like that. So here is two coats of Oswin. It definitely gets a lot darker, as dark as it is in the bottle, on two coats. It's just applying really well, and the first coat was like that too. I didn't have any issue with pulling any of the chunkiness off with the brush as I applied it. That is two coats of Oswin. I will let that dry completely and come back. So that is two dried coats of Oswin. As you can see, it dried down to more of a matte finish, but with the glitter still sparkling, and none of the texture particles got that weird white kind of rubbed off cast to them. So that is two coats of Oswin. Now, since I have worn one of these before, I can tell you they are extremely difficult to remove. As bad, honestly, if not a little bit worse than a glitter. Very, very difficult to take off. So I would suggest a peel off base coat if you don't want to have to drench your nails in acetone. So the next polish is Ariana, and this is kind of a deeper pinkish red. I'd still consider it a red, but it has a little bit more pink into it. I'm going to put it next to Oswin so you guys can see the difference. When I did these on my swatch sticks, I didn't label the sticks first, and then I realized I had a really hard time telling these two apart on the swatch sticks. So I'm kind of like bummed that these came out in the same collection, because I really don't think you need both. Because, I mean, obviously they're different right next to each other, but they look so similar once they're swatched. So here is one coat of Ariana. The base in this one is a lot pinker, and you can see that on the nail, and it's a lot deeper as well. But I still feel like they are just so close in color once they're dried down. I'll show you the swatch sticks once this is done. The formula on this one is the same too, really easy to apply. None of the polish gets hung up on the glitter. So that is one coat of Ariana. I'm going to let that dry and then come back for a second coat. So that is one coat of Ariana dried. It didn't seem to dry in that weird white speckled way that Oswin did. So that's good, because I know that the next one does, because I've already worn that one. So here is two coats of Ariana. The color deepens a lot. Definitely becomes the color in the bottle in two coats, which is what it's supposed to do. I noticed this on the other one too. You do have to swipe a little bit more just to fill in the kind of like valleys that's created by the texture. It's not difficult at all, you just kind of have to pay attention to do that. So that is 2 coats of Ariana, so I will let that dry and then come back. So that is Ariana completely dried down. This one dried a little bit more shiny than Oswin did. Oswin was definitely more of a matte finish. You know, a lot of the shine was gone. It actually became a little bit dull. This one has a little bit more shine to it when it's dried down. So I guess they are kind of different. I did want to show you guys, this is Oswin and this is Ariana, swatched 2 coats each next to each other. And as you can see, they are really close. Ariana is a little bit darker and it does dry down a little bit shinier than Oswin does, but they're very similar. So I definitely don't think that you would need both of these. So the last polish in the trio is Noir, and this is an almost blackened purple jelly base with kind of fuchsia, I think I'm getting that right, glitter and chunky glitter in it as well. All 3 of these have the same kind of glitter mix in a base. They're just all a little bit different in color. So here is 1 coat of Noir. You can see it has a very deep purple base to it. This one I have worn already. It's actually, the old manicure is still on my right hand. It wore okay. It started to chip on me in like 3 days, maybe. Today is day 3, and today's the first day I noticed chips. So, I mean, usually pixie dusts wear a little bit longer. Usually Zoya polishes wear a little bit longer, but I didn't have any base coat under it, so that might have something to do with it. It was just, I don't know, usually pixie dust, even without a base coat, will wear a little bit longer than that on me, but this one did not. So that is 1 coat of Noir. I will let that dry down and come back for a second coat. Okay, so the first coat is dry, and like I said before, it did dry with that weird, like, where some of the texture particles look like they've turned white. They're a little bit like weird and grainy looking, but it doesn't do that on the second coat. I can tell you that right now. So here is 2 coats of Noir. The formula on this one is just like the other ones, really easy to apply. The glitter doesn't drag off. You just have to pay attention to kind of fill in any rough spots where too much of the polish has soaked into the previous coat, if that makes sense, kind of soaked into the valleys that are in there. Just have to pay attention and be careful to cover those. So basically you just need a little bit more polish on your brush for the second coat. I guess that's a way easier way to say that. So that is 2 coats of Noir. I will let that dry and come back. So that is 2 dried coats of Zoya's Noir. This one has a little bit more shine to it than the other one does as well. I will say, because I have worn this one, that you lose a little bit more of the shine as like a couple hours goes by. It takes a little while to dry completely, but this is basically what it ends up looking like. It doesn't get too much more dull than this. So I hope you guys enjoyed this one, and I will talk to you later. Bye.